Aloha everybody and welcome to part 8 of Mega Man ZX Advent. We are now in the scrapyard, the first of the 4 new areas. What is this place? There's junk everywhere! That's a scrapyard! There are mountains of discarded machines! Until only recently they were all buried in the snow! Imagine that! I don't see any snow. The heat from the machines melted it all! Machines that were thrown away because they were supposedly broken became Mavericks and started working again. Scrap that just starts working again? That's the reason I had you two come here. Whoever is controlling the scrap should be here too. Take them down and scrap the Mavericks. Will do, Master Mikhail, will do. So I'm going to be spending most of this level playing as Model P, because Model P is the only one who can grab onto a lot of the ledges and switches that this place has, and it's just going to be, you know, convenient to keep playing as this guy for the majority of the level. To keep playing as Sharnak. And I don't know what Sharnak's deal is. Apparently he's like the most robotic character in the Mega Man ZX universe, because he doesn't talk like a human, he doesn't even talk like a Reploid, he talks like an AI program machine thing. But I don't know this guy's backstory, and unfortunately we don't really get in depth with the Mega Man character's backstory at all. We just know that there are 4 of them. They now have the biometals that once belonged to Vent, and they're working for the bad guys. They're working for Master Albert, and Prometheus, and Pandora, and they're not good people. So yes, Vent no longer has all the biometals. Does he still have Mega Man ZX? Is he still around? Is he still alive? Are we gonna see Vent in this game? I don't know. We'll have to keep watching. Either way, folks, that's me grabbing a ledge as Model P. These levers are used to control these gates with the spikes on them. You hold them down, and then they slowly go back up, raising the gate, or closing the gate, rather. And a lot of timed levers that you have to rush and get to the gate before it closes on you. And this is also kind of an annoying level on paper, because this is one of those levels that has a lot of doorways that lead to a dead end. A lot of doorways that lead you to a trap that take you back to areas you've already been to. It's actually kind of maze-like, honestly. And I already know where I have to go in order to get to the exit, so I'm going to be taking mostly all of the right pathways. But I will be showing off the room that you go to once when you take the wrong doorway, because it helps me get rid of all this falling rocks, all this falling scrap that keeps showing up in the pathways here. And if I could turn that off, all the more better. All the better, more. That's not even a phrase. I don't know. But here it is. You just saw I came into that doorway. I fell into this pit. There were actually 4 doorways that fall into this pit. And this is a trap room. Every time you go in the wrong doorway in this place, you always end up here, and you always have to sink through this scrap in order to get to this pathway that I was just in and restart this whole thing all over again. Kind of annoying going into the wrong doorway in this level. Because I got the featherweight body chip back in the oil field, I actually don't sink through the scrap most of the time, so anytime you're stuck in that room and you have the featherweight body chip equipped, you have to turn it off in order to sink through it. Most of the other time it'll just lead you to bottomless pits, and so you don't want to stand in it for too long, but you can keep jumping and walking and you'll be fine. So yeah, a lot of doorways that lead to nothing, and you need to take the right, correct pathways. So I would explore the rest of this place and show you where each door leads, but they all basically lead to that room, and I don't want to keep going in there, you know. So the good news is, when you grab a ledge, you can also push up twice and actually stand on the ledge too. Like, you don't need to necessarily just grab it with your arm. You can actually jump on it and stand on it, so that if you want to just dash jump like right off the switch so you can make yourself go by a lot faster, you can do that. And I'm about to get another life up, but I need to turn into Chronoforce and slow down time. Because when you slow down time, it also affects the gates as well. It affects the levers. So I turn back into Sharnak, I go to the very last door here, the 3rd door, and that way I make it through here before that spike wall closes to the wall. If I didn't have time slow on, it probably would have been closed by the time I got here. which means I got the life up, my health bar went up just a little bit, I'm a lot healthier, And now I feel ready to kick some Maverick butt. Ready to kick some Pseudoroid butt. But yeah, that's the only collectible in this place. There's no sub-tank or biometal upgrade. All you need is Model P and Chronoforce, and if you're playing this level, you already have Model P and Chronoforce, so nothing to worry about there. And again, I'm not bothering with the warp points, because whatever. I don't need to warp back to this place afterwards, so I don't need to pour energy crystals into them. And now we got these kinds of switches, where when the switch is blue, they go into their blue position. When the switch is red, the blocks go into their red position. And sometimes you need to preemptively hit the switch before you go into a doorway, because you might get locked out from an area you want to go to, and that's no good. These blocks can be wall jumps. You can grab onto them from underneath with Model P, and they can crush you as well. If for some reason you flip a switch and then you end up to where a block is going to a dead end, if it's going to where a wall is and you're in between, pew, 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 you just die instantly. And I'm pretty sure I said this in the Roast Spark level, but spikes are instant kill as well, including the spikes that are underneath all of the gates as well. So, like, when you activate a lever and the gate is slowly closing, if you jump up, even though it hasn't closed, and you touch the spikes, oh, you die in one shot. So be careful. Be very careful. I once had an incident where I was on the top of a lever that I just pulled down, and then I wanted to dash to the right so I could go underneath the gate and go onto the platform, and the spikes just clipped my head, and then I died, and I had to redo that section all over again, and I was just like, oh god, no. But with this area, you need to flip that switch before you go in the doorway, otherwise the blocks won't be right there where I needed them to be. And right before I go into this final gate, I have to flip the switch back to blue, otherwise I'll find myself in a dead end and I'll have to redo a lot of the things I just did all over again. Like, there'd be some, like, that pathway I'm going up right here, it would have been blocked off completely if I didn't flip the switch at the very end as I was leaving. So, yeah. You'll find yourself backtracking a lot because of the maze-like structure and because, you know, you didn't flip the switch, so gotta redo everything.
Feel it! I see you pushed your way through all of those Mavericks to get a special front row seat to watch me perform. That's pretty mega of you, Mega Man Model A. I'm Voltron! I play the part of the prince, who kisses Model W's and wakes them up.
There's a Model W in here too?
Not so fast. That's where the VIP seats are. I'm afraid you can't go in there. What do you say we start the show? I'll play guitar, and you'll sing the vocals. I'm looking forward to the finale, as you scream your last breath.
So you remember how I said Chronoforce could slow down time and make all the boss fights a lot easier? And I mean pretty much every boss fight in the game. Yeah, watch this. I slowed down time, and now this guy is so super slow, I can charge up my buster, keep taking pot shots at him from a very small period of time. His invulnerability period still goes at normal rate, right? And I get pretty much his entire half health. I get him to half health. I drained his entire green bar just in that small little window of time slow. Which is oh so useful. Believe me, it helps with most boss fights. Voltron's probably the hardest Pseudoroid in the game, not counting the final boss and a lot of the other bosses. But in terms of Pseudoroid bosses, Voltron's the hardest. He doesn't have an elemental weakness, and there is a lot going on with this guy. He can summon zombies, and his beams that he shoots at the ground to summon zombies can hurt you, so you have to dodge out of the way of those. He can send these chains downwards, and they give contact damage, so you don't want to run to them. Every now and then, when he starts rocking out with his guitar, he actually destroys all the scrap around some of the speakers, and they can go outwards, so you need to be on a very low platform in order to dodge it. And if he actually does his guitar move while you're next to a speaker that's been unearthed from the scrap, it can actually make Ash's ears hurt, and then she can't fire her Mega Buster for a short period of time. Like, I am just avoiding that attack right now. If I was right next to that speaker, I wouldn't be able to fire my Mega Buster shot.
What? This was supposed to be Mega's death concert, not mine! Ah!
Without an elemental weakness, with a whole bunch of things that he sends all over the place, like he's hovering all over the place, he's shooting his guitar moves, making sound waves emanate from himself, he is letting those chains fall down, and he's sending scrap all over. This guy is doing a lot of stuff which makes him a very busy boss fight. He is easily the hardest of the Pseudoroid boss fights, if you want my honest opinion. So, I couldn't go over everything he could do in that boss fight, but now we can become Voltron! And I love his default stance, because he just headbangs. If you push the attack button, he will do a guitar stroke, which creates this big energy field around him. You charge it up, he swings his guitar at people. He can cling to walls and stay on walls forever. Like, you just hold right and he'll stay on that wall. And he can also hover, but it wastes biometal energy, so, be careful with that, because he can hover for a short period of time, but it drains the energy bar really, really, really quickly.
I hear it. The discarded machines. The mechanoids. Their voices of sadness, of pain, of anger. All food for Model W. Pandora! Even as you awoke, destiny had already been set in motion. What the heck are you talking about? The time will come when you shall know everything, and you will be driven to despair. Pandora. Does she know my secret?
Huh. She took Model W with her. She's definitely odd. Good work. The Mavericks in that area seem to be settling down. Mission accomplished. Don't forget to submit a report.
I mean, they still got Model W. Did I really accomplish my mission? I don't know. What the? Somebody's done something to this room. How are you supposed to get past that? Oh, I know! You can morph into Voltron and use his ability. So the other thing about Voltron clinging to walls is that every now and then you'll come to a weight puzzle, and if he's clinging onto the weight that's up in the air, he'll bring down the other one. Or he'll bring that down and bring up the other one, and then you can get through passageways that way. But, I love that headbanging stance he does. It's so good. But, yeah, that's the hardest Pseudoroid in the game, in my honest opinion. There's a lot of stuff you gotta pay attention to. But again, I had 2 sub-tanks in that fight. I have 2 life-ups during that. I think I did pretty good. I think I did pretty okay. Anyway, folks, come back for part 9. We're going to go to the control center, which looks awfully familiar. Till then.